Namaste. I welcome all my dear SSLC students and all the viewers for today's Samveda e-learning program class. Dear students, in today's science class, we used to discuss one of the easiest chapter, that is our environment. Students, all of you be ready with your textbook. Open the page number 136. Also keep a book along with you to note down important points. Are you ready, students? This chapter we are going to discuss in two sessions. So what are the main learning points we used to discuss in the first session? Environment, introduction, ecosystem, types of ecosystem and its components. Food chain, food web. Also we are going to discuss flow of energy and 10% law. In the second session, the main learning points we used to discuss: biological magnification or biomagnification, formation and depletion of ozone layer, managing the garbage we produce, biodegradable materials, non-biodegradable materials. Also we used to discuss different methods of disposal of waste what we produce in our day-to-day life. Are you ready, students? Okay. Students, every year, August 15th, we used to celebrate Independence Day. Yes? On January 26th, of course you are right, Republic Day we used to celebrate. What is the speciality of June 5th? Yes, you are right. On June 5th, we celebrate World Environment Day. On that particular day, we used to plant several plants in our surroundings, in our school. There will be several competitions also conducted in our schools. Yes or no? Yes. So the term environment is familiar to all of us. We used to heard about this term in televisions, in newspapers, even by public also. Several developing nations used to conduct summits to discuss environmental issues. So in this particular chapter, we are going to study in detail about our environment. Students, what is environment? We all know that the physical world and the biological world where we live is called as environment. Environment is the sum total of all external factors, substances, living beings and conditions that surround an organism and influence the same without becoming its part. Students, our environment mainly consists of biotic components such as all living organisms, plants, animals, microbes, decomposers, insects, etc. Also, abiotic components. Abiotic components are mainly air, soil, water, even inorganic substances, minerals. All these things comes under abiotic components of our environment. Students, can you define environmental science? Do you know the meaning of environmental science? Yes, the scientific studies which enable us to understand the totality and pattern of the relationships between organisms and their environment is called ecology, and it is also known as environmental science. So environmental science is a branch of science in which we are going to study in detail about our environment. So which is the basic unit of environmental science? Of course you are correct, that is ecosystem. Now what do you mean by ecosystem? Yes, you are correct, students. Any unit in nature where there is an interaction between living and non-living components is known as ecosystem. In our ecosystem, both biotic components, abiotic components, which are interdependent on one another, and they helps in maintaining the balance in our environment. Students, there are two types of ecosystem. One is natural ecosystem and the another one is artificial ecosystem. Students, what do you mean by natural ecosystem? They exist naturally in our nature. Artificial ecosystem, they are nothing but man-made ecosystem. Students, what is the difference between these two ecosystem? Can you guess? Yes, this ecosystem is natural ecosystem which exists in our environment. It is not a man-made ecosystem. And the second picture, it's an artificial ecosystem, nothing but man-made ecosystem. Agricultural fields comes under artificial ecosystem. Natural ecosystem. Yes, already I told you. These ecosystems exist in nature naturally. Natural ecosystems are divided into two types. One is aquatic ecosystem. So aquatic ecosystem again divided into two types, that is freshwater ecosystem, marine water ecosystem. Freshwater ecosystem, good example, ponds, lakes, river. And marine water ecosystem, you all know that oceans, sea comes under marine water ecosystem. In terrestrial ecosystem, good example, grassland ecosystem. You can see here the grassland ecosystem. Next, desert ecosystem. And one more type is forest ecosystem. So these are some of the examples or types of terrestrial ecosystem. Next, let us discuss few examples about artificial ecosystem or man-made ecosystem. Artificial ecosystem, good example, crop field or agricultural field. Also the park where we used to go for a jog or we used to go for picnic, etc. Next, one more type of ecosystem which we commonly keep in our houses, aquarium. Yes, this is also a good example for artificial ecosystem. Students, garden is an artificial ecosystem. Why? Because if you visit a garden, you will find different types of plants such as grasses, trees, flower bearing plants, so like roses, jasmine, hibiscus, etc. And also many animals like frogs, insects, birds, butterflies, etc. And all these organisms interact with each other, and their growth, reproduction and other activities also affected by abiotic components of ecosystem. So garden is an excellent example for artificial or man-made ecosystem. Students, you people try to create an aquarium in your house. So what are the things that we should keep in our mind when we create an aquarium or when we prepare an aquarium? Yes, you are right. The very first thing we should keep in our mind, the fish would need a free space for swimming. So it could be a large jar or a glass box. And water, oxygen and food. These are the main important points we should keep in our mind when we prepare an aquarium. And apart from that, fishes need oxygen. So oxygen can be provided through an oxygen pump or aerator, and fish food also available in the market that can be used. So these are the important points we should keep in our mind when we prepare an aquarium. Students, you people also try to prepare an aquarium in your houses. Students, can you answer this question? Why we should clean the aquarium frequently? Yes, you are right. There are not enough decomposers to dispose the aquarium waste, because of which algae grows. Also, fishes are affected by the growth of bacteria and other microorganisms. Hence, we should clean the aquarium at a regular interval. Understood? One more question. Should we clean the ponds or lakes or rivers too? Not required, because large numbers of decomposers are present in ponds or lakes. Even the surface area is more, which decompose the waste which are produced in ponds or lakes. Hence, there is no need of cleaning the river, lakes, ponds, etc. at a regular interval. Understood, students? Students, what are decomposers? Yes, you are right. Decomposers are those microorganisms that obtain energy from breaking down the complex organic substances into simple inorganic substances. Understood? So decomposers are also called as cleansing agents. They clean the environment. Good example, fungi, bacteria. Students, what are the basic components of ecosystem? Can you answer this question? Yes, you are right. Biotic components and abiotic components are the basic components of ecosystem. Biotic components consist of all living organisms, plants, animals, microorganisms, etc. Abiotic components mainly consist of non-living things. These abiotic and biotic components, they are interdependent on each other and helps in maintaining the balance of our environment. Students, observe these levels: sun, plants, deer and tiger. Yes, you are right. Sun is the main source of energy in our environment. Usually the plants, nothing but producers, they convert the light energy into chemical energy and makes the energy available to other organisms present in the ecosystem. So plants are the producers, and here you can also observe deer, they are the consumers. They are nothing but primary consumers or herbivorous animals. Even tiger, they are carnivorous animal which feed on herbivorous animals. So all these stages or levels are called as trophic level. According to the manner in which organisms obtain their sustenance from the environment, organisms can be grouped as producers, consumers. Of course, in consumers we can classify them primary consumers, secondary consumers and tertiary consumers. Primary consumers are those organisms which feed on producers and get their energy. Secondary consumers are small carnivorous animals which always get the energy from herbivorous animals. And tertiary consumers are higher carnivorous animals, they feed on secondary consumers. One more group, decomposers. Students, observe this. Now can you tell me which is the producer? Yes, here plants are the producers, deer and tiger comes under consumers category. So in this picture, deer are primary consumers and tiger are secondary consumers. Students, what are producers? Yes, you are right. They are nothing but autotrophs which prepare their own food material by using sunlight energy. Yes, all green plants, algae are very good example for producers. They prepare their own food material. Next, what do you mean by consumers? Yes, you are right. Organisms which consume the food produced either directly from producers or indirectly by feeding on other consumers are the consumers. Again, these consumers are classified into primary consumers, secondary consumers and even tertiary consumers. Organisms depend on the producers either directly or indirectly for their sustenance. Consumers are also classified into different types based on the food what they eat. For example, herbivores are the animals, they feed on plant, even plant products. Second one, carnivores, they always eat the flesh or meat. They eat the herbivorous animals. Even higher carnivorous animals or large carnivorous animals, they feed on the small carnivorous animals. One more group, omnivores. Omnivores are the organisms which eat vegetarian food, also non-vegetarian food. We human beings, bear, ant are very good example for omnivorous animals. And one more group, parasites. These organisms get their energy from the host without killing it. Very good example, mosquitoes, leeches, even roundworm are very good example for parasites or parasitic animals. So these are the different types of consumers. Decomposers are the microorganisms which break down the complex organic substances into simple inorganic substances. Very good example for decomposers, bacteria, fungi. Also these decomposers increases the fertility of soil. Students, what will happen to the garbage, dead animals and plants in the absence of decomposers? Yes, you are right. Decomposers play very important role in cleaning the environment. In case these decomposers absent means garbage, dead animals and plants remain on this earth. This causes environmental pollutions, soil pollution, land pollution, water pollution, etc. And no recycling of nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, carbon, etc. takes place. Also, this leads to lack of nutrients for plants to grow. Understood, students? Students, observe these stages: sun, plant, deer, tiger. The producer and the different kinds of consumers, primary, secondary, tertiary, are involved in a nutritional relationship involving eating and being eaten. Already I told you, producers stabilizes the sunlight energy and make it available for other organisms on this earth. So the energy in the form of food transfer from one organism to another organism, and that represents a food chain. And each feeding level of food chain is called trophic level. Students, what do you mean by food chain? Observe this. Plants, they are the producers, stabilizes the solar energy and make it available in the form of food to other organisms. Of course, herbivorous animals such as deer, cow, rabbit, etc., which feed directly on plants and get their energy. And you can see here tiger or other carnivorous animals which eat herbivorous animals and get their energy in the form of food. So students, in this particular food chain, plants are the producers, deer, they are the primary consumers, and tiger, they are the secondary consumers. What do you mean by food chain? The sequence of living organisms in a community in which one organism consumes another organism to transfer food energy is called a food chain. Observe this: plant, grasshopper, frog, snake, eagle. So here plants are the producers, grasshopper primary consumer, frog secondary consumer, they are the small carnivorous animals, snake tertiary consumer, and eagle quaternary consumer. These food chain can be classified into mainly three types: herbivorous food chain, parasitic food chain and saprophytic food chain. First, let us discuss about herbivorous food chain. The primary consumer in this chain has always been a herbivore animal. Most food chains come in this category. You can see grass, these are the producers, rabbit, primary consumers, and wolf, secondary consumer. Very good example for herbivorous food chain. Most of the food chains comes under this category. Next, saprophytic food chain. In this particular type of food chain, the primary eater is saprophyte. Ant, winch, earthworm, centipedes, crabs are called as saprophytes. This is because they eat things that are rotting. They get their energy from rotten food substances. So very good example here you can see dry leaves, earthworm and birds. Next, one more type food chain, parasitic food chain. In this particular type of food chain, transfer of food energy occurs through a series of parasites at each trophic levels. Example, tree, parasitic birds, bird lice, fungi. Here, birds are parasitic on trees, lice are parasitic on birds and fungi are parasitic on bird lice. Students, what do you mean by trophic levels? Yes, I already told. Each stage of food chain is called as trophic level. In any food chain, the first trophic level is occupied by producers and the second trophic level is occupied by herbivorous animals or primary consumers, and the third trophic level is occupied by secondary consumers or small carnivorous animals, and the fourth trophic level is occupied by higher carnivorous animal or large carnivorous animals. Students, practice the following food chain and write it down correctly. Can you write it down in a proper order? Yes, you are right. Hemp, caterpillar, sparrow, eagle. So this is the correct order of a food chain. What do you mean by food web? Yes, you are right. The interconnected food chains operating in an ecosystem which establish a network of relationship between various species are called a food web. Here you can see more than 2 food chains, and even organisms are interlinked with different trophic levels because each organism consume different types of food. So food web is an interrelationship between more than 2 food chains. Students, what happens if all carnivores are removed from the earth? Yes, you are right. It increases the number of herbivores. This will result in the destruction of the flora and fauna of the land, and this causes an imbalance in the ecosystem and destroys all living things. So, if all carnivores are removed from the earth, it leads to imbalance of the ecosystem. Next, let us discuss about energy flow. Students, energy flow in an ecosystem is always unidirectional, and sun is the main source of energy in our ecosystem. All green plants in terrestrial ecosystems capture only about 1% of amount of solar light falling on their leaves and convert them into food energy. So plants stabilizes the solar energy and make it available to other organisms. When green plants are eaten by the primary consumers, a great deal of energy is lost as a heat to the environment, and some amount goes into digestion and in doing work, and the rest goes towards growth and reproduction. An average 10% of the food eaten is turned into its own body and made available for the next level of consumers. In this way, energy flow takes place in an ecosystem. Observe this, students. The available energy in a consumer is 10,000 kilocalorie, which is lost, and loss of energy in the form of heat takes place. So the primary consumers, the available energy is 1000 kilocalorie, and secondary consumers, the available energy is 100 kilocalorie, and every stage you can observe here loss of energy in the form of heat, and tertiary consumers gets only a small amount of energy, that is 10 kilocalorie. So loss of energy takes place in the form of heat at every stage of an ecosystem. Students, have you heard this 10% law? Yes, you are right. According to this law, at every stage of food chain, there is a loss of energy takes place. Only 10% of energy is available to the next trophic level. For example, from producer, when the energy transferred to the primary consumers, only 10% of the energy is available in the primary consumer. For the secondary consumer, only 1%, and the available energy in tertiary consumer is 0.1%. So every stage there is a loss of energy in the form of heat. If the producer plant has 10,000 units of energy, the next trophic level primary consumer will get around 1000 units of energy. Secondary consumer will get 100 units of energy, and tertiary consumer will get only 10 units of energy. And this is known as 10% law. Students, who proposed 10% law? Yes, you are right. Raymond Lindemann in 1942 put forward this law. Students, food chains usually consist of only 3 or 4 trophic levels. Can you give reason? Yes, you are right. The flow of energy is unidirectional. The energy that is captured by the autotrophs does not revert back to the solar input, and the energy which passes to the herbivores does not come back to autotrophs. As it moves progressively through the various trophic levels, it is no longer available to the previous level. The energy available at each trophic level gets diminished progressively due to loss of energy at each trophic level. Since the energy loss at each level is high, the minimum amount of energy remains after 4th trophic levels. Hence, maximum there are only 3 to 4 trophic levels are present in food chain. Students, observe this following food chain: paddy, rat, snake, eagle. Producer has 500 kilocalorie of energy. Then how much of energy will be available in the third trophic level? In this food chain, paddy comes under producer category, rat, snake, eagle comes under consumers. According to the 10% rule, producer paddy comes under first trophic level and the energy storage is 500 kilocalorie. Primary consumer rat, second trophic level, energy storage 50 kilocalorie. Secondary consumer snake, they comes under third trophic level, energy storage is 5 kilocalories. Hence, third trophic level will get only 5 kilocalorie energy in this food chain. Hope you understood, students. Only 5 kilocalorie energy storage is available in the third trophic level organisms. Next, can you answer this? Why vegetarian food habits are helpful to gain more energy? Yes, you are right. A person having vegetarian food habits is very close to producer level. They represent the second trophic level in any food chain and get maximum amount of energy as compared to the non-vegetarian organisms, which is at higher trophic level, because only 10% of energy is available at the successive levels than previous levels. Hence, vegetarian food habit organisms get more energy than non-vegetarian. Students, till now we discuss about environment, ecosystem, types of ecosystem, food chain, food web, different types of food chain, and energy flow also we discussed at each trophic level. Now, can you answer few multiple choice questions? Are you ready, students? Okay, you try to answer the few MCQs. An example for human-made ecosystem or man-made ecosystem is forest, lake, cropland, desert. Can you answer this? Yes, you are right, cropland. The percentage of solar radiation absorbed by all the green plants for the process of photosynthesis is 1%, 10%, 5%, 100%. Can you guess the answer? Yes, you are right. Answer is only 1%. Next question. By which of the following does energy enter the ecosystem? Options are primary consumers, producer, secondary consumer, decomposer. Guess which is the correct answer? Yes, you are right. Producers, through which the energy enter the ecosystem, because plants will stabilize the solar energy and make it available to other organisms present in the ecosystem. Which of the following involves the food chain? Options are grass, wheat, mango, grass, cow, elephant, grass, sheep, man, grass, fish, sheep. Yes, you are right. Option C, grass, sheep, man. Now, I am going to give you few homework questions. Please answer this by taking the help of your teachers and by reading the textbooks. So, be ready to write down these questions. First question, what is trophic level? Give an example of a food chain and name the various trophic levels it contains. Second question, algae are called as autotrophs. Give reason. Third question, create two food chains and one food web from given organisms. Identify the tertiary consumers of the two food chains: grass, lion, eagle, deer, insect, snake. Next question, which of the following organisms is found in the first trophic level? So, grass, grasshopper, algae, mosquito larvae, herbivores. Students, till now we discussed about our environment, ecosystem, types of ecosystem, food chain, food web, 10% law. In the next session, we are going to discuss about ozone layer formation, ozone layer depletion, also waste management and different methods of waste management. Also, we are going to study about biodegradable and non-biodegradable materials. Till then, namaste.